My name is Jan Davis. I'm the Vice President of MISMO. We're here to take a few minutes today to talk about the MISMO Software Certification Program. I have with me Andy Christenberry, Senior Vice President of Business Operations at eLynx, and Matt Sue, Managing Partner at Actualize Consulting. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So first, I'd like to take a minute to congratulate Andy and the eLynx team on certification. The eLynx Expedite product was recently certified at the premier level as part of the MISMO Software Certification Program. Expedite is the first product to be certified at the premier level. It was certified with MISMO version 3.3 and at with the Information Exchange business domain. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So what was it that, why did eLynx decide to go through the certification process?
That's a great question. So our company has really been involved with MISMO for a number of years, and we thought it was a great opportunity to formalize and set kind of a foundation of expectation about how we use the standard in the products and services that we provide to our customers. So software certification structure, really allows a method to validate that. And with the premier certification, you have independent resources that are able to come in and make sure that you are in fact using the standard the way that it's supposed to be, and you're doing so using best practices. So it was just a next great logical step for eLynx to take.
That's great. Matt, could you talk a little bit about why certification is important from an industry perspective?
Yeah, sure. I think when you look at the environment that we're in right now, the movement is towards more regulation, higher level of data transparency, and so you need to be able to figure out a way to tell people that you've met those types of standards and that rigor. And so, the market, at least those that participate in using MISMO intellectual property, this is the way you do that. And so I think that, again, I think it's great that eLynx is the first in, and I think that you're going to see a lot more companies realize that certification means something, and it's going to be not only sets the benchmark, but also be an advantage to them in the marketplace.
That's great. Thank you. Well, Andy, tell us a little bit about how you and the eLynx team prepared for the certification.
Sure. So, again, being very familiar with, MISMO as the standard, I would say is the fundamental step. So we've had, the great opportunity to kind of participate in the various work groups and very much become knowledgeable on how to use it best within the way that we provide services. So, that provides a base understanding. But it's very much like other assessments that technical vendors will go through in the financial services community, in terms of an SOC2 or PCI compliance, whatever that may be. It's just all about the way that you have everything documented and structured, make sure that you're able to follow the standard with its intent, and being able to demonstrate that in the way that you maintain it within your organization. So in terms of preparing for the certification, making sure that all your documentation is well organized, it supports the test cases in the way that you've implemented the standard with your products and services, and you're able to validate that through the different divisions in your organization.
Great, great. Well, we mentioned that the premier level certification, one of the key requirements is that all of those things you were just talking about, all of those requirements are actually reviewed and verified by a third party, an independent third party reviewer. In this case, it was Actualize Consulting. Matt, could you talk a little bit about what that process was like from your perspective?
Sure. First of all, let me just say that I think Andy alluded to this, but this is not something that's fakeable. You really need to be involved. And so we're looking at three things. We look at how do you operate your business and your technology in relation to MISMO artifacts and intellectual property, and do you have the MISMO processes embedded into how you do your business? That's the first thing. The second is We want to see evidence that you're trying to remain involved in the education, that you participate with MISMO, and perhaps even have internal training. And in this case, we saw evidence of that. Then the last thing is we literally are going to inspect software and look at test cases. And so that's what we do when we go on site, is we'll meet the folks and look at the results. But this is how you would prepare. In addition to the application, we would have a prep call where we'd go through what we're going to do while we're on site. And honestly, depending on the size and the amount of test cases, it could take a little while. But in this case, we were able, in one business day, to do all our on-site. eLynx was great. They provided us with a ton of data ahead of time, not just a large volume, but it was on point. So we were easily able to navigate through it. We did a lot of our homework ahead of time, and then when we were on site, it was really just discussing a couple of questions that we had. We did have one area that we needed to remediate a little bit. It was very easy to do so. And then we completed a report, signed it, and made a recommendation to Jan that eLynx received their service mark and certification.
That's great, thank you. So Andy, any additional information that you might add from the perspective of the team that was being assessed?
No, again, I think it just comes down to really being involved with the organization up front and understanding, how the standard and best practices are going to be incorporated with the way that you do business. To Matt's point, it's something that really just needs to be baked in to the organization, and kind of given the direction of data, low quality, compliance checks. We integrate with many more partners than we used to even 5 years ago. So pursuing an integration standard such as MISMO kind of eases that and streamlines it. And the certification process really is a very easy way to provide validation to your customers and your partners that you're kind of living by the rules. So, just becoming involved in the organization sets the standard.
That's great. Well, Andy and Matt, thank you very much for taking a few minutes this afternoon to talk about the MISMO software certification program. For more information about the program, please check out mismo.org, and congratulations again.
Thank you much.
Thank you.